can't handle the truth.
Stay right there. Here we go. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, wait, that's the wrong voice. All right. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys for tuning in. The dates. Oh, yeah, wait. The government told me it is August 21st. It is a Friday. Can I help you, sir? 2026. Well, thank you so much for being here, guys. I have a guest with me today. If you guys haven't tell, there's a void of color right here where all color has accumulated. It's a brown cat sitting here next to me. So anyway, are you trying to touch me? Uh-oh. You hear the dogs, don't you? Uh-oh. Are you trying to, look, watch. She's going to try to touch me. Look, watch. So right now she's not touching me. And she's got these horrible claws, like this horrible claw. And they're just so freaking, I could just cut them off with fingernail clippers all the time. Anyway. But watch, if I leave my hand right here, watch what she's getting ready to do. Now, I'm not going to let her come over on this side of the computer. She's on the tablet over here. I'm sure the settings are changed somehow. I had to move my water because for some reason she has an obsession with my water. All right. Where are you going? Back over here. Stay right here. There we go. We're going to do that. All right, guys. Well, anyway, just letting you know that this is self-imposed torture I did to myself, so don't worry about it. The cat is not doing anything. I'm not letting it. There's never a point in my life where I see that animals will dictate my behavior. If this cat is too much, I will just move her off the table. It's just not a problem. Right now, I'm being a little bit nice with her. I don't know why. It's a Friday afternoon. I thought I'd be nice. Anyway, what are you doing? Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah. Something down the hall here. Down the living room there. Towards the stairs. I can oh, there she goes. She's going. Oh, she knew someone was going to come and get her. I didn't ask her to leave, but she's been summoned away. So anyway, that is one of Jimmy's cats. He has two cats, so I have two cats here at the house. Anyway, but yeah, I do have two cats here. I've got dogs and cats and turkeys and ducks and chickens and people and plants and yeah. Oh, and then the hummingbirds and all the other stuff that the blue jays have really become part of the whole morning routine around here, it seems like. So that's a whole thing, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, feeding blue jays peanuts is actually very rewarding. If you guys didn't know that, blue jays love shell peanuts. You can buy them by the 50-pound bags at Atwood's or at different types of farm stores, and they have them readily available. Crows love the peanuts. That's what I was originally putting out for the blue jays are eating now, is I put the peanuts out for the crows, and the crows were coming by very, very faithfully. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what's happened. Something's changed. I don't know if it's because it's summer. And this is the only thing I'm thinking of right now, because during the winter, I get a lot of crows here. A lot of crows in the city. So I'm getting the hill country crows coming into the city during the winter, and then they go out during the summer. Anyway, usually I'm feeding them. So, I'm usually giving them the big old bagfuls of peanuts and stuff like that. And so I really like doing that. And it's been really fun, but what I found out is the blue jays absolutely love it as well. So anyway, just one of those things that if you're thinking about feeding birds, it's actually pretty easy. Most of your birds don't like sunflower seeds as much as we think they do. Your larger birds will like them, but your small finches, sparrows, things like that, the ones you think that are really pretty and decorative and jump around a lot, your bigger birds like your cardinals and getting into the blue jays and the crows. And I had my Bluetooth turned off. I literally checked this right before the show. Anyway, and we'll go back in here and turn it off. I literally white dotted that right before the show just so it wouldn't do that very thing. Anyway, but yeah, your larger birds like the sunflower seeds, but really, guys, when you're buying bird seed, buy it with no sunflower seeds. Most of your big birds like the smaller rape seeds that are put in there, the smaller flax seeds. They like those. So anyway, just think of it that way. But if you do want to put seeds out for for blue jays or bigger birds, buy the seed with that only, and then buy the seed with just the rape seed, the flax seed, the small finch seed. They'll call it a finch blend. Anyway, just telling you, I don't know how I got onto all that. But anyway, welcome, everybody. Hi. No salt on the peanuts. Yeah, these are just straight bag peanuts. So you could actually boil them yourself and put them in a brine of salt and salt them yourself if you wanted. You could actually then shell them and make them into your own peanut butter. It's however you want to do it. But I do believe that a lot of the stuff... Here, guys, by the way, listen, guys. Do you know why we are so sick? It's because we don't make anything in America. Now, I want to kind of slow that whole conversation down just for a second. When's the last time you grew your own watermelon? I'll wait. When's the last time you grew your own cantaloupe? I'll wait. When's the last time you ate your own cucumber? I've had, I don't know, probably 8 or 10 maybe of my own this year already. And I think they were kind of accidental cucumbers. I don't think we really were working to try to get cucumbers, but I'm working on the greenhouse over here in the south end of the property, working on getting a 50 by 20 in-ground so that it will have the Earth's temperature. It'll be blocked out on the north side, fully glassed on the south side with aluminum flanges and aluminum framing. And that way it is a year-round. And so what I'm going to probably end up doing is putting solar panels on this side to then provide power for those things that are out there. And then right next to that is going to be 2 little Airbnb trailers sitting out here. But anyway, in that greenhouse, I'm going to be working on propagating not only things that are year-round that I can figure out how to grow, but I'm also going to work on my own seedlings and things that I'm going to rotate my own crops and do things like that. So this is where, guys, why aren't you doing that on your own? Oh, I don't have a big old piece of property, Jimmy. Guys, a tomato plant takes up a 1 foot by 1 foot square. So think about a tile in your kitchen. Maybe an 18 by 18. They really grow straight up. They're not supposed to be great, big, and bushy. They are a vine, and you can cut them back and make them whatever you want them to be. But also you can grow cabbages, and you can grow tomatoes. You can grow radishes on your own. You can do all these things in small little planters because you're not going to eat 12 radishes a day, but you're going to have a radish every now and again. And that's why you grow them in these little herb gardens you have. Put them on a balcony. Put them on a windowsill. I mean, guys, if you have an apartment, you have a balcony, right? You have access to the sun. But the point of that is that think about if you want to grow your own stuff, you really can. And by the way, like I said, there's farmers markets everywhere. And a lot of these farmers markets will let you volunteer, and you could probably just eat for free. See, a lot of these places don't want to pay you, but they sure would love to have you help them moving stuff around or getting this or that, and that'd be great for them. And they wouldn't mind letting you have some produce because you've made their experience better. But we don't think of that exchange, right? We don't try. We always just go down to the Piggly Wiggly, the Wawa, the Quick Trip, the Dillon's, the Fry's Food Drug, the whatever it is grocery store in your local area. And we just say, well, that's the it. But things in the store, there's very few aisles that have ingredients to make food. The rest of the food is basically in the store is already pre-made food. Like you don't get a piece of meat and cut your own steaks down to save 30%. You don't get a roast and then take that and break that up into several meals. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like there's a way to do a lot of these things, but we don't do things as we don't buy ingredients, we buy things to eat. We need to move to a life of ingredients. And that's very particular in a lot of ways this is where a lot of people have moved to, is the ingredients of things. When we read the boxes, we're trying to say, well, hey, quit putting those ingredients in there, but why don't we just make our own Oreos, and then we don't have to worry about what ingredients are in there because we know we put flour, sugar, cocoa, lard, and vanilla, moved on. See how that easy that is? But no, I got to look at the back of the Oreo package and try to figure out, advanced chemistry because they're using molecules of stuff that I don't even begin to understand. And I got to look it up and find out it's some synthetic hormone. And somehow a synthetic estrogen-based hormone is a purifier or some type of, what is it? They call it, something they preserve something with? Why do you need a feminine hormone to preserve something? No, that's what it's for. It preserves it. Does it? And I will give you this, guys. As I have moved away from a lot of different things, like especially like things that have ingredients in them, the things that I smell now, woo-wee, it is amazing. Now, I've tried to kind of buy, drink a soda here and there. This is, again, alkaline water, copper cup. But if we are moving towards a true ingredients-based life, which means we're looking at the box, why don't we just make those ingredients? Why don't we just make whatever's in the box out of our own ingredients? Because that's really where this whole life. I thought this. Let me ask a quick question here. When we all started COVID, remember COVID? Remember Q? Remember I got to get my food reserves in a bucket. I got to get my freeze dryer. Remember all that stuff? Guys, that is exactly how you live the cheapest life on earth, is prepping. If you stay as a prepper, if you stay trying to grow and kill and consume what you grow or make or raise or whatever, if that's what you do, that's true prepping. That means you're always self-reliant, which means you're never looking around going, I wonder what the dollar's doing today, because you don't give two shits. You don't care. Do you see the math on that? Because when you're always prepping, when you're always a prepper, you don't have Dillons on your shopping list. You don't run by Walmart. You don't end up at things, you just don't buy other things. You're like, well, why would I need to go eat that shit when I've got amazing food here that makes me feel great and young and I just have more energy throughout the day? I'm kind of amazed at the ability of the parasite cleanses and how it really does change how the body operates and how the mind works and what the thirst and the sugar intake and the food intake, how that all changes if you don't have a billion other mouths to feed inside your body. See, when you start killing off some of those parasites and those sacs and those eggs and the little casks and all that stuff in your body, and you start going, and there's less of those eating the sugar and there's less of those eating your food, you don't have to have as much sugar and you don't have to have as much food. But if you fast on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, then that even puts those parasites even more jeopardy because a lot of that food is irregular and a lot of those calories are not coming in consistent and there's not enough of that for them to stay alive and reproduce at the levels they were before. But if you're doing your parasite cleanses, which if you guys get a hold of me on this stuff, I've got a really great little thing. It takes like 2 seconds. And by the way, once you're on the parasite cleanse, you can never stop. If you're not on a parasite cleanse now, get the F on one. Guys, the crazy part about parasites and the things that we think is just acceptable or normal in our bodies is breathtaking. When I see the jowls on a guy or a girl and the neck is all full in here, or I'm seeing the lymphatic system not draining out, when I see the puffiness in the eyes and around the ears, and I see those things, I can see that the liver's all distended. I can see those things, and I'm thinking, golly, guys, we don't have to live this way. And you know what? The government wants you to have free health care because you're not going to get rid of the things that make you sick. The government is giving you health care. They're giving you health care. They gave you a COVID shot. They gave you a measles shot. They gave you your mumps and rubella shot. They gave you Agent Orange. They gave you the internet. They gave you cell phones. They gave you Facebook. They gave you Twitter. Guys, these are all government programs, all DARPA. They gave you Windows 95. That's a true thing. That's not a Jim Price thing. Look it up. All DARPA programs. So the problem with a lot of this is that we forget that Jobs was a kind of an anti-government guy, and that's why a lot of times people look to Apple and say, well, mean your phones are not hackable. Well, because really they didn't want to be hackable because they didn't want the government in there. And the problem is Bill Gates actually built a system that was susceptible to viruses and then sold the antivirus protection for his own system. See, he was always the con artist. He was always the government employee, always out there getting more, taking more, demanding more. But now all these corporations, all these great big corporations are so locked into this i360, this Office 360, this Microsoft program. See, again, all these huge corporations are now relying on Microsoft to keep their data. Well, if I was Microsoft, I'd just be sitting back going, oh, looks like Ford's losing a little money on their, they're not making money on rims. Why is that? Oh, they had a bad contract, aluminum deal go bad. Oh, yeah, I got all their internal records right here because I'm Microsoft Cloud. Again, thank you, DARPA. Thank you, government, for giving us the cloud. AI, the cloud. I don't know, the computer. I mean, again, great. These things are making us able to talk across distances we've never imagined before, but what are we doing with it when we know that they're using it against us? But if I'm self-reliant, if I get up in the morning and I draw water and I feed myself and sun myself from my property and never think of anything outside of that property or that existence, then I truly have won the self-reliance portion of the life journey of knowing that I did it without having to think big government. Thank you, Mr. Government, for my livelihood, my ability to draw breath. Without my mighty government telling me what I can and cannot do, where would I be today? Oh, thank you, mighty government. Or what if I just had my own goat milk that I made cheese and butter and fed infants with? By the way, goat's milk is so identical to mother's milk or breast milk, there's a lot of people that will substitute that before they'll ever go to Infamil or any of these progestamils or other things that have aluminums and leads and other things. And also the number one ingredient in all powdered formula. Go prove me wrong, guys. Go down the powdered formula aisle. It's either soybean oil or sugar. It's either sugar or soybean oil and sugar. Oh, they'll call it fructose or dextro. There's a new word for sugar. By the way, they went in and they found, by the way, this is what they're doing in this sugar stuff. Listen to me, guys. Listen. They're putting these kids on an addictive track for sugar at birth because these women don't want their breasts messed with some child suckling from their breast as if we have done this since, I don't know, humans. Okay? This is what we do. But no, we're so freaking smart in the last 50 years. You know what we don't do? We give kids short chins and recessed jaws, a horrible immune system, a lack of connection to the mother, and then we wonder why mothers are killing their babies. And there's a trial about that right now where some lady killed her kids and then jumped out of a window or whatever the hell. We don't let women breastfeed feed the child so the airway is not developed properly and the immune system is not gained. And the connection between the mother and the child and the immune system that is actually regulated through the breast milk, because the mother's breast detects the saliva of the child, and the next load, the next cycle of breast milk is formulated to fight or nutritionally balance the child for what the saliva is saying from the child. There's a chemistry set there. But by God, let's skip that process. Let's give me some Infamil. What do you got there? Soybean oil? Hell yeah. What do you got next? Sugar? Hell yeah. 29 other ingredients I've never heard of? Hell yeah. Or your breast milk. But see, this is where we keep thinking that government's doing it right on the shelf and they're protecting us. But then what was the scandal 10 years ago at the high lead levels that were going into these people's body? By the way, guys, lead is not soluble across the blood-brain membrane. That is why they had to use aluminum to try to get vaccines into the brain. That they could use lead, they would put lead in the injections, but they used aluminum, the nanoparticles of aluminum, to get across the blood-brain membrane to get vaccines to go in and hotwire the brain and creating certain spectrums. But I digress. What do I know? I have no idea what I'm talking about, right? But the government's here to help us. But the woman has a chemistry set, not only in her thyroid, that's regulating her blood, and all the blood goes through her thyroid every 7 minutes of her life, where we get the Lugol's iodine in there, and we protect ourselves against radiation, but we reset our thyroid, make sure our thyroid is operating at the optimal level, so we don't have temperature control issues, we don't have hormone control issues, we don't have liver control issues. By the way, T3, T4 is produced in the thyroid, and that's what keeps your liver healthy, keeps it moving, keeps the second brain quiet. Your second chemistry set for women is the breast. As a woman's breast, if you guys actually studied the science of a breast, you wouldn't smash them in one of those stupid little pancake machines. First of all, that's like so destructive to the tissue itself. And then all the different sacs and different glands and the lymph nodes that are in the breast themselves, for them to be smashed in a mammogram is barbaric in ways that you don't even understand. By the way, the whole smash thing, that was never proven to be effective at all. You would be better off with just a standard standing x-ray. But they have ones where they now let you do MRIs where you can lay down in one and allows your breast to hang down and hang there so that you openly can see them through the MRIs or the CT scans. You can do all kinds of crazy shit nowadays. But we don't do mammograms. Your breasts are a huge chemistry set. It regulates hormones. Oh, yeah. It regulates your lymph node glands. Oh, yeah. The breast itself is a huge part of how a woman regulates a lot of things in her body, but yet we cut them off, we modify them, we manipulate them, we don't use them in the right way, we don't touch them, we put them in these big bags of underwire all day long and say, be there, don't move, that's what you got to do, and stay pretty. I mean, I don't know. I think it's very weird that what we've done to the immune system and to the body and how the destructive nature of the culture is done to the woman. There's nothing in today's woman's fashion that actually does anything to keep a woman healthy. I want to say that again because I want to everybody to hear that. There is nothing in woman's today's fashion that is healthy for a woman. Lululemons, estrogen blockers, high-heeled toes, pointy toes. Remember the old witchy poo toes they did for a while there, really cramming your toes into a big V down in the middle? Eye makeup, hair coloring, all the different things, all the lotions and potions and the perfumes, all these things cause as much or more hormone damage than the pill. And the pill is like a 0.5 milligram of estrogen, which makes you infertile. Just that little bit of estrogen will make you infertile. You can't hold on to an egg. But yet Lululemon and all these undergarments and all this stuff, all these polyesters, right next to the openings of your body, through your lymph nodes. By the way, you have lymph nodes in your breast, you have lymph nodes down there, all these things, but women are heavily affected by chemicals. Men, we tend to wear cotton and jeans and things that do breathe, so we're kind of in this weird, we don't do the Lycra stuff, right? We wear whitey-tighties or these cotton underwear, right? Because we don't want cotton because we're trying to let our things breathe, right? You make fun of us. Hey, I got to let the boys breathe. But we're doing more cotton where girls do more nylon. And that's a huge estrogen disruptor. It's very, very hard on a woman. But the government told us that breastfeeding is not necessary. Well, why did I say that? Well, the AMA, who also is regulated by the government, we have a health department for this whole thing, who regulates health care. No, breastfeeding is not necessary. No. You silly goose. You don't need to. You just let a machine do it. You just let some powder in a little cup thing do it. And the sad part of it is that we don't even think about how this all works, but we go to these C-sections and we go to this canned formula and we go to these box meals and we do all this stuff, and then we look around our society and we go, why is everybody so fat? Why is everybody's neck so blown out? Why is their calves look like they're bowling balls? Why are their feet purple? And I will tell you that I quit eating Hamburger Helper beef stroganoff. I used to eat that once a week, if not twice a week. Loved it. Now, back when I was younger, I was doing a lot more and keeping ahead of that curve, right? But I don't eat that stuff no more. Because when you just take cream, right, or some heavy cream or some sour cream, and you take a little bit of beef and you take a little bit of seasoning, you've got yourself beef stroganoff. It ain't that damn hard. It was just too easy to dump it in a box. And now here's the crazy thing. I used to take beef stroganoff and I'd put onions and all kinds of other ingredients in there to really make it more than just Hamburger Helper. So what's the crazy part is I could have probably just looked up stroganoff recipe and I probably had most of the ingredients in the house already. I just didn't have the dried potatoes, which I could have just sliced potatoes and put it in there, and then we'd have been done, right? Because the potatoes would have cooked at the same time as the sauce would have set up. But I used to do a whole preheat water and get the dry potatoes hydrating and stir them around and get them going as I'm frying up I had a whole system for Hamburger Helper, churching that shit up. But I will tell you, on my waist and my head and my neck and my body, they're all a different size and shape, and I feel completely better because I really quit going back to that. But the government told me it was okay, right? Because there's nothing on those shelves the government would let us eat that would kill us, right? BHT and soda. BHT is a chemical that lessens the stomach lining of the bugs that try to eat corn. So the BHT, when concentrated into corn syrup and you drink it in soda, then that's then eliminating the stomach lining of the body, the snot that keeps your stomach from having sewage leak into your blood. That. See, guys, there's a lot of these answers that we have that are right in front of us. But again, oh, gosh, I forgot about this one. Look at this. I know I've been going about food here for a second, but I was at Dylan's over here in Andover, and I go over there, and it was, I don't know what I was doing. It was just like a quick drop in, grab a whatever. And I walked by the Soda Stream. Okay? I walked by the Soda Stream, and I thought, you know what? I want to see what Pepsi has ingredients in their syrup. Right? So I pick it up, I spin it around. What do we got? Number one, sugar, right? Did go, but it was another name for sugar too, by the way. It's dextrose or something. They've changed the name of sugar. Now it's not sugar. It was high fructose syrup, and then now it's another. They broke it down to even a more addictive molecule. But anyway, on this bottle of SodaStream, which is just a little bottle of syrup that you put into the thing, and then you have a thing of Pepsi or Mountain Dew or root beer or whatever it is you want, right? And again, we were talking about this ingredients thing, right? We just got, oh, hey, ingredients. I spun it around. That's what I do. I'm in the grocery store. I'm spinning it around. And there's formaldehyde in it. There was formaldehyde. It says the ingredient on the side of the SodaStream Pepsi flavor, bottled by Pepsi, registered trademark, licensed Pepsi, said formaldehyde. Formaldehyde. Now, isn't that stuff that we do the whole end of life thing with, where you put like the body in the whole, like, when people are dying or they're dead, and you just like, oh, hey, let's do this thing. Isn't that like, isn't that what you do with dead people? Like you put the little frogs in formaldehyde. Remember that? We're supposed to wear gloves when you touch formaldehyde. Wasn't that what they said was bad about the carpet, because they were using formaldehyde in the carpets to... Remember they were big mad about formaldehyde? It's a toxic chemical that we can't do that anymore. No more formaldehyde. It's in the Pepsi syrup in SodaStream. Now, we've never gone back there and flipped around the box at Taco Bell or KFC or any of these Pepsi vendors or Coca-Cola vendors, but by God, I didn't know they were putting formaldehyde in the soda. When did that start going on? Yeah. Gumby over on YouTube says embalming fluid. It's like, yeah, formaldehyde. This is the stuff that we think of like when the K-State came out and studied my bees on my property. I had 25 hives over here, and they came out, and some of the bees they put in formaldehyde. Some of them they put in dry ice. They wanted them frozen like quick freeze. Some of them they did like a alcohol or something else. Like they knocked them out, and then some of them they just anyway. So yeah, one of them was a formaldehyde thing, and it just keeps them in this little. So anyway, I just. Guys, if you know what you are... Here, by the way, guys, did you know that you can look up the formula for Pepsi and then just go get the syrup and do that yourself? You can make your own soda. You can make your own sarsaparilla or your own root beer. Then you don't have to go out and buy A&W that doesn't have any type of sassafras in it anymore. So if we want to get back to the healing potions of tonic water, remember tonic water, like I want a gin and tonic? Well, tonic water is quinine, quinine is HCQ, hydroxychloroquine, which was what was developed or found to work in the malaria outbreak from the Panama Canal. Now, the federal government gives out, I think it's like 60,000 doses of HCQ every single day, because of certain military in certain regions of the world that they have to be on HCQ every single day, hydroxychloroquine, or you could take a swig of quinine or put a little gin and tonic, and then you could just dig down your gin and get a little bit of quinine, man. Because quinine is an antiviral. It lowers the viral load, so your immune system is able to go in and get the viruses out of your body, the herpes virus, the chickenpox virus, so cytomegalovirus is a herpes virus. And again, virus, when we say virus, these are abnormal cells. These are things that are trying to take over others, but you can lower those down and it will go in and hold them in stasis. HCQ holds them while your immune system attacks them. So it gives your immune system something to do, and it teaches them how to take them out. So HCQ teaches the body how to be better at being the body. So you stay on it. Just like you stay on the worm food, man. You feed the worms those anti-parasitics every day. You keep pumping them in every day because you know what? You didn't do it your whole life, so now you have to catch up. So you're 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. Well, you owe me about 7 decades of parasite cleanses. And if you think, well, no, I did one back in 72 or I did one back in 85, it don't matter. If you drank today's public water, I can actually show you water samples of any municipality. We can go do it. I will show you parasites in your water. Yes, there are parasites in your water. There are parasites in me right now. I've had my blood tested. I've seen them live. I have to constantly work on it. And as I do, my jawline becomes more pronounced. My face, all the puffiness along my jawline, my saliva glands where they love to live in there, those are all getting smoother. I'm the same weight. I'm just not as puffy and blown out with the parasites. So again, this is the thing. Hey, Philly, good to see you, man. But this is where we don't get to talk about things that will actually heal us. We're always talking about these things like, hey, they need to, Nabisco needs to do better. Well, screw Nabisco. Just go make your own damn crackers. I'm actually looking at a lot of things that we buy at the grocery store, and I'm like, okay, crackers are 2 ingredients. You literally smear it out like butter, and then you put it on parchment paper, you put it in the oven, you cook it, salt it, and you have your own damn crackers. Like as long as it took me to say all that, it probably takes less time to make them. I'm not kidding you. Like a lot of people, there's this one chick, I've been watching her. She does these recipes. She calls them homemade. It's homemade, Hoemade or MAID, I think, made like a housemaid. She's crazy. Hilarious. She goes, why are you spending all that money on Jell-O pudding pops when you can make this? Or whatever, or why do you go over there and buy all these things that have all these ingredients you can't read? If you want your caramel macchiato powder mix, she says, you gotta make it right here. Watch, I'll show you. 1 cup of this, boom, 1 cup of this. And she's cussing. She's got a nice house. She married up for what you would say married up, right? But she just cusses and has a great time. But what she's doing is showing you these everyday items that you can just make. Make your own creamer. Make your own Kool-Aid. Make your own whatever, but you know what you're putting in it because it's your ingredients. And a lot of times, she's funny as all get out when she's doing it. She really gets into it. But, you don't have to be all that just to make your own barbecue sauce. Grind your own pepper. Like, why don't we grind our own pepper? Why do we buy pre-ground? I thought buying pre-ground pepper was pretentious. But actually, now that I've actually realized that the corn, is it corn peppers, the little BBs, the little things? I'm losing my mind here all of a sudden. They have a freshness. Pepper has a freshness. And so when you actually grind pepper at the moment, you really have to grind it into a fine powder when you're peppering your steak at the table. The only reason you ever use coarse pepper is when you're cooking with it. But the point of it is that the terpenes, the smell, the fragrance, when you smell a rose, when you smell something like that, those are called terpenes. These are the frequency of the plant, of that essence. Like the pepper has a frequency, a terpene, has a certain smell to it, that fragrance. Our nose resonates and knows what that frequency is, and then we match that frequency to an item in our head called pepper, called rose, called lilac. You see how that works? Our nose are just frequency resonators. They just go up there. Here comes the terpenes. There's the little frequency coming out of the plant, and it goes up in there, and our mind's going, oh, wait, I know that frequency. Wait. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's a rose. I know a rose. It has a certain wet smell to it. It has a softness to it. You kind of know when it's there. It's not abrasive. It's not pungent. It doesn't come at you a nice rose smell, right? But those are the terpenes. Anyway, I don't know when I went off on all that. Well, yeah, I watch her on someone, yeah, or someone like her. Yeah, Brenda says she watches someone like that. Absolutely. But what she really points out is the simplicity of items that we go to the grocery store for. Now, here's one thing I will tell you. Because they have so many people living alone, so many people living apart, so many families thrown across the country, so many kids not looking to each other for, hey, brother, sister, we should go buy a house together and we should raise our kids together. Or, hey, mom and dad, I want you to move in with us. When we get old enough, we're going to get started with our kids, but then we want to buy a house that we can move into and you get to move with us. Or we're going to stay here and take over this house because we're the oldest or we're the this or that. But so what they've done is they've driven us all apart because out of necessity, a lot of times when I was on my own, even as a single dad, a lot of times it was just me and my two kids, and it was to make a big meal, a lot of the time it wasn't worth it. It was the drive-thru or the sit-down restaurant or an ingredients box, a box of ingredients, or a pre-meal, something that was made in a factory where someone could have pissed in it. Like, by the way, have we all forgotten about Minnesota and the food coming out of Minnesota and the Somalis that are putting together most of the foods that we think about and talk about, like the meats and hot dogs and things that may come out of the Minnesota area? Have we all forgot about that? Do we forget about what it's like to be a Somali American? Like bananas and rice and bananas? You know, it's what it's like to be Somali. Did we forget? Have we forgot? That they're the ones, there's a lot of heavy food processing plants in Minnesota. I guess I'm not allowed to say that out loud, or you guys like forgetting? I don't know. So anyway, I did name today Crazy, and I guess I didn't, or Fear. And I didn't mean to name it Fear out of the idea that I was going to talk about food for the last 42 minutes, but I guess that's what we've done here. And so I'm not really sure about that. I'm going to read this article, and I guess I was not privy to this. I thought Alex Jones got sued for $1 billion or something, but a Texas appeal court on Friday delivered a significant victory to InfoWars founder Alex Jones, drastically reducing the massive $50 million judgment against him in one of the Sandy Hook defamation cases. Oh, well, that was nice. So he took it down to $45.2 million. Oh, wait. The court ordered the punitive damage reduced from 45 down to 1.5. Oh, wow. $750,000 for each parent, in line with Texas law. Jones will face roughly $4.1 million in compensatory damages the jury awarded, plus interest and fees, bringing the total judgment to about $5.5 million. More than $43 million was wiped away from the judgment. Well, the problem was the judge had to follow the Texas state law that caps those types of claims. So, yeah, that's another thing. Some of these states really do have weird laws about how things get taken care of. Jones wasted no time celebrating the ruling on his show Friday, calling it a gigantic victory for the First Amendment. He vowed to keep fighting and taking the remaining damages to the Texas Supreme Court. I got lawyers who are good constitutional lawyers, and they are not backing down. Well, there you go. But see, here's the problem with that. To be able to get justice, what is he having to do? To get justice, he's having to go to the courts. And I am just absolutely floored by this, that we always run back to courts. And it's like, oh, the court's this and the court's that. I'm like, what? Yeah. First flights of deportees land in Haiti after Trump ends temporary protective status. What's amazing is how many of these people who are living in this protected status in our country I got my own copper bracelet there, who seem to be in this threatened state of, oh, you got to take me to your country, America. And they're fat. They look really blown out and are not articulate or educated people, but they're also just jump on a plane and leave and go back to another country. I don't know. If I was going to move to another state in America, I would have to be like, yeah, I got to figure this out. I got got logistics. I got to put together this, and I got timing, and blah 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 blah. These people are like, oh yeah, I got my backpack. I'm going to Haiti. I'm gonna move to Haiti today. Now, granted, a lot of these people don't have a lot of choice because of what they put themselves into. But again, at the same time, they're not exactly like pulling up with U-Hauls or Brinks truck, or not Brinks trucks, but what are those? Mayflower. Remember the Mayflower movers trucks? Those big green and yellow ones? I don't know. Are they even around? Do we do moving trucks anymore? 2 hunks in a truck. I don't know. I have seen a lot of people get moved in my day, and I don't know. It just seems like it's just as much work to have someone move you as it is to move. Because it just seems like there's just as much to do. You got to prep for this and prep for that and be this and be that. And Philip says, my personal opinion is Jones is a plant. They tell us what they are doing. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And see, this is where I wonder if I am still unique in a lot of ways because I'm not getting the millions of dollars. I'm not getting that stuff. I always get shadow banned. I always get knocked out. So I'm wondering, I guess that's the litmus, guys. As long as I'm still doing what I'm doing right here, you guys know that I'm telling you the truth and trying to come to you guys with all I know and be better. Sad part of this world is that we are fighting a lot of lies, and even we're lying to ourselves. So the problem is we got to figure out how to stop lying to ourselves. Once we do that, then the rest of this falls in line, and you can see past all the bullshit almost instantly. All right, guys, I'm going to get out here a little bit early. It's good to see you. Oh, Ariana Grande melts down after Trump team uses her song to troll trans nonsense. Oh, Ariana Grande's mad. Oh, my God. I just feel so bad. Ariana Grande. Who gives 2 shits? You're a singer. I don't care. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to do about it. I think that's going to be about it for today. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. It's been awesome seeing you guys. It is a Friday, so let's all go out there and enjoy our weekend. And remember, be better every single day, being better than the day before. That is what we're trying to do here. The sad part of it is we all kind of forget that we're living by programming, and we got to break that programming. I've actually thought about a little bit of programming I had today. Some of my stubbornness is actually not just me being, trying to get through it. Some of it was my mother's stuff, right? She was purposely a pain in the ass. And so I do usually drive a little harder trying to accomplish things, but I don't do the purposely pain in the ass part where she did things because it irritated people, like her lifestyle. She only did the lifestyle stuff that she did only because it made her parents uncomfortable. Isn't that weird? So anyway, I got to watch how my programming is, make sure I'm programming, and my programming or what I do and I'm driven to do is because of the things that I want to do and because I think they're good to do. I want to make sure I'm not doing it in this stubborn way, but I want to make sure the stubborn way I'm doing it is, again, balanced and wholesome and not being manipulated, not using programming, right? Saying, oh, I'm doing a great job, but still using the programming. That's not how we do it. We got to break away from that. All right, guys, that's going to be about it for me. Remember the 10% we do for our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government. The more you do for them, the less they have to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. There will be a far, far better place. Remember, hold the line, hold fast. Do not give up. Do not give in. We'll win. I promise I can't keep, guys. You've always been the answer out there. Remember that Constitution? Well, that limits the government, but never limits you. You've always had the power. And please, please exercise it once in a while. If we all just kind of did it once in a while, we'd all get real good at it, and we wouldn't have to deal with this. Maybe we'll talk about some of that next week. I'll tell you about the expeditions that the king did coming over to America and finding out that everybody knew the law and they were not manipulatable. They just didn't pay attention to them because they didn't have to. They knew their authority. All right, guys, that's about it for me. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys all be good to each other out there, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye-bye.